Yes, now we are coming on in functions. Last topic, that is inverse of function. Before starting inverse of function, first I'll give you idea of inverse of an element. For example, for question or for the function, if we are taking, let it is going from A to B. Whenever there is a function going from A to B, if I take element x here, the function is simply f here. X will have the image fx. One thing is clear. Every element x has its image fx here. That is thing we have already done. We will say image of x is fx, which we used to say as y. So image of x is y. Image of x is y means I should say f image of x is y. And at the same time, this y will have this as a preimage. So we will say preimage of y will be simply x. Preimage of y is equal to x. And when you go this way, means you are going against the function. So we will call this as a f inverse. So we will say f inverse of y comes out to be x. So inverse of any element will be simply the preimage of the function. From this side, it will be the image of the function, and then whatever element is here, its preimage will be x. And sometime you will find the preimage is possible, sometime the preimage is not possible. For example, if I'll say the set is this. Let this is the function we have. In this case, what you will say, what is the preimage? This is the function we are going. If I go this way, that means 2. 2 it will be having preimages. So we will say f inverse of 2. Preimage of 2 will be 1 and 2. Preimage of 5 is not here. So we will say preimage of 5, that is f inverse of 5 is not here. So it is empty set. Same way inverse of 7, that is coming 3. So we will say inverse means inverse of an element means simply the preimage. We should know how to calculate. This element is there, how many preimages are there. Whatever preimages will be giving as inverse of an element. So inverse of an element of 2 will be 1 and 2. Inverse of 5 will be empty set. Inverse of 7 will be having 3 as the element. So image 7 will have preimage 3, 5 will be without preimage, 2 will have 2 preimages 1 and 2. So this way we will be having the inverse or we'll say inverse of an element. Now we'll take some example on it. We'll say function is going from rational number to rational number and fx is given as x square. And my question is find out what is f inverse of 9, f inverse of 3, f inverse of minus 5, f inverse of 0. Now, whenever they say inverse of an element, inverse of element means inverse of 9. 9 will have how many preimages? 3 will have how many preimages? Minus 5 will have how many preimages? So that means this y is given and we should find out this is y and we want f inverse of y, that is your x. So y is given in the question. Fx is x square is our function which we used to take as y. When I say f inverse 9 means y is given to you. So I start y is 9 here. When you do this, x square is clearly come out to be 9. And when you take x is 9, x will be plus minus 3. Means when you have element 9 here, it will have two preimages. One is 3, another is minus 3. So what I should say in this case, we should say f inverse of 9. And that answer is coming as minus 3 and 3. Same way if they say f inverse 3 we want. F inverse 3 means y is given 3 this time. When we have y 3 means x square is 3. Or x will be plus minus root 3. Root 3 is a rational number or no? No, it is not a rational number. So we will say in this case f inverse of 3 is not possible. It is an empty set. Same way when you say f inverse of minus 5 means fx is given as x square, which is y coming as minus 5. No rational number has a square minus 5. So again we should say f inverse of minus 5 is an empty set. Same way when we say f inverse 0. When you say f inverse 0, I'll say it is 0. Then we should say x square is 0, so x is coming 0. That means only one preimage is there, that is 0. So any preimage we can calculate. One more question if we take, function is given from real number to real number. Function is given from real number to real number, where fx is given as x square plus 1. My question is, find what should be the inverse of minus 5, f inverse of minus 5, f inverse of 26, and then they are asking f inverse of 37. We want this. When we want f inverse minus 5, that means this is your y, so should be taken as minus 5 here. When you solve it, it will come x square is minus 4 and x comes out to be what? It will be plus minus under root of minus 4. And this is not a real number. If it is not a real number, what I should say, f inverse of minus 5 is an empty set. Next time we say f inverse 26. So fx we have x square plus 1 and that is given 26. So x square is clearly 25. X comes out to be plus minus 5. So in this case we will say yes, it will have the image minus 5 and plus 5. Same way when we have 37, we should say fx will be x square plus 1 come out to be 37, x square will be simply 36. And when you do it, x square is 36. Then clearly x comes out to be plus minus 6. And whenever it is plus minus 6, what my answer will be? This is coming minus 6 and plus 6. So any inverse you can calculate whatever given in the question. So this way you can get the inverse of a function. Now coming on inverse of, these are inverse of an element. Now we'll calculate inverse of a function. Now in inverse of function, when we think, now this is inverse of function we are going to take. First, we should know in what case the inverse of function exists or not. Inverse of function means you should reverse the function. Reverse the function means domain should change to codomain and codomain should take that domain. If I take this function, domain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, 7 is the element in the codomain, and this function is clearly coming as many one. And it is into because each and every element has its image, so and it will be many one into. If this function is many one into, and if we want this to be created on a new function, f inverse if we want, that means I should write this as a domain and that should be the codomain. If I do this way, what change will be here? You will find that this element has the image 1. This element has 2 images. One element is having 2 images, means it cannot be a function. 7 will have a single image. Each and every element has the image, but one element is more than one image. So we will say it is many one into, so inverse does not exist. So we should say f inverse does not exist. When it is many one into, it is not going to have a inverse here. In this case, what you will find, if I just take, this is first set A, this is set B. Now I'll take a function f inverse. When you take f inverse, then this must change to this. If you do this, then each and every element here, this will have the image, and each element will be having a unique image. That means, yes, this was 1 1 on 2 function and it is invertible. F inverse exists. Third case, if I take this function is many 1 and this will be into. And if I just reverse it, you will find that one element has 3 images and this element and this element are not having image. So F inverse does not exist. So we will say this case inverse does not exist. This case inverse does not exist. This case inverse does exist. And one more example we'll take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5, 7, 9. Here in this case, what you will find, we want it to be 1, 1. So here it is, here it is, here it is, and let it be 10. In this case, what you will find, this function is 1, 1. Yes, clearly. And this will be into function. 1, 1 into, but when you take the reverse of it, you will find that these 4 element has the image, but 10 is without pre-image. This 10 is not having its pre-image, so we will say inverse here does not exist. So we should say now function is going to be invertible only in one case, when it is a bijection. When the function is bijection, we will say yes, the function is invertible. So if a function is invertible, we should have the function bijection or 1, 1 on 2. So now the question which they will ask, well, that this will be a function given to you. You check whether it is invertible or not, and if it is invertible, find out the inverse. So next questions will be this. So we start with that. Yes, this is the function we have. Function is going from real number to real number, where fx is 3x minus 7. Question is show that f is invertible and then find out f inverse. Invertible function means what a condition I should have? We should have the function to be bijection or 1, 1 on 2. If it is 1, 1 on 2, then we'll go for inverse. How we calculate that, I'll also tell you. First, we go for 1, 1 function. So we start with let A and B belongs to R, that is this domain, such that FA comes out to be FB. When you have FA is equal to FB, I got it 3A minus 7 is 3B minus 7. And when you solve it, it will come out to be 3A is equal to 3B. I got it A is equal to B. So therefore, F is 1, 1. First part is clear. F is 1, 1, 1, 1 function we have proved. Now coming on onto. For onto, we have already done how to start. Fx is equal to 3x minus 7. We will take this as y. When you solve it, it will come 3x minus 7 will be y. Or I should say 3x will be y plus 7. Or x will be y plus 7 by 3. Here when you have y is all the real number. Any real number you take, real number plus 7 by 3 is another real number. So therefore what I should say, for all y belongs to R codomain, there exist, what that exists? There exists x. What x is? Y plus 7 by 3 belongs to again a real domain. Therefore, f is on 2. And if f is on 2, then clearly I'll say f is invertible. We got it? F is invertible now. And as you got f is invertible, now we want the inverse to be calculated. Just check how we do it, inverse calculation. This is x. Here it come out to be fx, which you take as y. And what is your fx? Fx is 3x minus 7. And then when you take here y, when you take y here, this side when we have calculated, for this y the pre-image comes out to be y plus 7 by 3. This is y, this will be going as f inverse. So this is what? This is nothing but f inverse of y. So whatever x which you get will be your f inverse. So therefore what I should say in this case, inverse they are asking. So we should say f inverse will go from real to real. F inverse will go from real to real, and where f inverse of x, f inverse of y, x will be, this is your x. X is f inverse y, and that will come out to be y plus 7 by 3. So f inverse y is coming y plus 7 by 3. This is the inverse we have. F inverse will be going from this to this. So this will reverse, at the same time this will be there. So this way you can get the inverse of a function. Now in this question they are asking, just prove that this function is 1, 1. And then this function is invertible, find f inverse. So first thing, we'll start for 1, 1. Let a and b belongs to -1 to 1, such that fa equal to fb. When you do this, it will be a by a plus 2 is b by b plus 2. Or when you solve it, it is ab plus 2a is ab plus 2b. And we'll get it a is equal to b. Yes, it is 1, 1. Now they are asking you prove this function is bijective, or we'll say invertible. So to get invertible, inverse 1, 1 we have already done. In this case, we want that this function should be onto. To get it onto, what is given? Codomain. Codomain is given equal to range. So here we will say as codomain equal to the range. Which case? This case. As in this case, codomain is equal to range, therefore f is on 2. And if f is on 2, 1, 1 is already we have proved. So we will say f is invertible. And as f is invertible, we can get the inverse of it. To get inverse, what we do here now? Fx will be equal to x by x plus 2 taken as y. And when you solve it, it will be coming as xy plus 2y. Then I'll say x1 minus y is 2y, or x comes out to be 2y by 1 minus y. And here, if you take this part, it will not be on 2. Why it is not on 2? That's why they have changed this. Why it is not on 2? Because when you take y as 1, y will be 1 here, will not have its preimage. Why when you put 1, x is not having its preimage. So we will say that's why they have changed this function to get onto. So onto, if you want to, you have changed this. So x is coming this, and now it is as range is equal to f. Already we have proved that it's onto. So we will say inverse function when you take, it will go from range of f to -1 to 1, and f inverse of y come out to be 2y by 1 minus y. Hence proved. This way you will have the inverse of the function. So this I have completed. From next class we will be starting with inverse trigonometric function. More question on this we have done in June classes, so that you should complete. After that we will be going on next part.